Driving on snow in a supercar is very silly, but so much fun.
Nobody can resist the temptation of a big, empty car park when the ground turns soft and white. But this place is several stages better than that. This piece of land in northern Finland is part of the imaginatively named Test World, a sort of Disney for chassis engineers. It's like finding your favourite B-road closed to everyone but you the morning after the mother and father of all blizzards.
And you might be wondering, well, there must be more to it than just sliding around and twirling your hands. Why do manufacturers spend millions of pounds shipping cars up to the frozen north like this? So we thought we'd find out. And with the help of this brand new Aston Martin Vantage and Matt Becker. So this is the car then. I know these different levels of car, the mule and test cars and things. What level is this at?
So this is a VP level car. Normally when you do development project or development of a new car, we start with an X1 level car, which is your kind of a very cut and shut mule car. Then you basically use that to get the kind of the basics and the fundamentals in place. Then we move to an M1 level car, which has correct underbody components but doesn't have correct upper body components. This is VP level, so validation prototype. So in terms of the shape and the upper body and underbody are pretty much correct. It then comes down to more kind of quality details as we move forward. So this car itself, it has correct suspension on the car, correct damper software, correct ESP software, correct EDIF software. The only thing it doesn't have is the steering software is not correct. But to be honest, because the grip level is so low, the only thing you won't really notice it, because you won't feel the effort change in the steering anyway, because there's not a lot of grip. So this car is up here fundamentally for the media to drive and get an experience of the car. We also have another car locally, so we do many different durability tests. We have a car up here, what we call CET, cold environment testing, and that car is doing 20,000 kilometres in Finland on the local roads. So it's a pretty arduous test. It's very extreme. We also do an HET, which is hot environment testing, which that car will do 20,000 kilometres in Arizona. So what we try and do is make sure that we try and cover all of the customer usage profiles we possibly can, to make sure that when a customer gets the car, then all of the issues that we've ever found have been removed.
Yeah.
So
presumably you have sort of sensors on this, and sometimes I know that in other cars I've seen they've got various sort of well-conditioned buttons inside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the powertrain or the engine software is not production intent. So we actually have a kill switch in the middle there. So if you want to kill the ignition or the battery of the car,
if it's all gone horribly
wrong and the car suddenly
screaming,
yeah, you can press the big red button and it will stop it.
It doesn't fire out the roof.
Yeah, but we've tried to make this car as kind of close to production intent as we can. So it's actually for a test car, it's in very good condition, because it had a lot of attention before it came out here to give it its best possible opportunity to impress.
Normally they'd be slightly rattier than
Normally they're rattier, there'll be green wires everywhere for thermocouples for measuring equipment, but this one was kind of updated as much as we can to make it look less ratty. Some of the mule cars we have, or test cars we have, can look a bit ratty in terms of condition.
Excellent. Should we go for a drive then?
Yes,
Interestingly, the cars at these test sites aren't actually allowed to use studded tyres, as they would rip up the surface too much. So they have to make do with normal winters. As such, the speeds aren't as high as you might expect, and inputs need to be very calm and measured. After a couple of laps with Matt Becker showing me the way around the circuit and demonstrating his supremely gifted car control, it was my turn behind the wheel.
So can I actually glean anything from driving this car on the snow? We're at the end of January at the moment, so we're still probably a couple of months away from driving this on tarmac. And one of the interesting things about these places is that actually the track is the opposite of rubbering in, really. They just get so slippery as they polish up throughout the day. So if you want to set a quick time around one of these places, then actually the best time to do it is first thing in the morning. Get your game face on, come out straight away, and that's when you get your quickest lap. It just seems to sort of oversteer for quite a long time now. We just sort of keep going, still going, still going, still going. I suppose one of the things you can tell with this car is actually that it has a lovely balance to it, because you're going into the corners and obviously it's trying to slip around, but it's not always the front end. You're not always struggling to get the front end like you would be, say, with a 911, or equally with the roll stiffness. Sometimes actually it can be just that the rear is always trying to get away from you. But this car, you have got balance. It's kind of, you can obviously kick the tail out on the exit of corners under power. The engine, by the way, makes a lovely noise. It was never really in doubt, was it? We knew it would, having heard it in Mercedes before. Other things, well, I'm very glad these long paddles, I'm pretty sure they weren't in the car that we shot in the studio when it was unveiled. And I'm really glad that Aston Martin has gone for those, because as you may know if you've watched a lot of the videos, I get quite obsessed by paddles and how they feel, and these are very good ones. Apart from that, well, I can tell you what the ESP is like, but it's all the way off at the moment. It's actually quite hard to see today because the light is really flat, and any of you that skied in flat light know that all the definition tends to go out of it. So even though we're amongst the trees here, it's quite difficult to spot the corners.
The days are brief in the Arctic Circle at this time of year, and with the light fading, it was time to stop our rigorous test. The truth is that most Vantages won't ever see conditions this cold or this slippery, but the cars need to be engineered just in case. What's more, sliding the car endlessly on this low grip surface is like seeing the subtleties of the ESP and the new electronic limited slip diff through a magnifying glass. And if you ever hit black ice, you'll be glad that this sort of detailed development has taken place. All in all, it was a fascinating and mouth-watering glimpse of the new Vantage, and that time when we get back behind the wheel on warm, dry tarmac can't come soon enough. To see our test of the thunderously loud Vantage AMR Pro, just click up here. Or to watch our review of the DB11 with the same V8 engine, just click down here. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you know the very moment we post our full review of the new Vantage. Thank you.